Welcome back, my dear students, to another quick revision video. Your exams are coming up, I know. So let's quickly, super quickly, break down this whole chapter on food security in India. And hey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with your friends who also need it. Let's get started.
Chalo bachcho, let's start with a simple question. We've all been there, right? You miss lunch and suddenly you're feeling, well, a bit angry. That hangry feeling. It's actually a perfect reminder of just how important food is for all of us. Not just for energy, but for our mood too.
Okay, so what exactly is this big, heavy-sounding term, food security? I know, it sounds a little complicated, maybe something you'd see in the newspaper. But trust me, for your exam, the idea is actually super simple. Let's figure it out. All right, so here it is. Food security basically means having enough safe and nutritious food that you can always get and always afford. See, it's not just about having food today. The key is being sure you'll have it tomorrow and the day after that too. It's a guarantee, you know? And to make it even easier, just remember the 3 A's. Seriously, this will lock it in your brain. First is availability. Just means, do we have enough food in the country? Like, is the national godown full? Second is accessibility. Can everyone actually get to the food? Is there a shop nearby? And third, the big one, affordability. Do people have enough money, enough rupees to buy it? Remember these 3 A's, and you've got the definition down pat. Now, you might be wondering, why is this so important that we have a whole chapter on it? Well, to understand that, we need to look back at a very, very sad event in India's history. It's a tough story, but it's crucial for understanding why food security matters so much.
30 lakh people. Just try to imagine that number for a second. It's huge. 30 lakh people died in the Bengal Famine of 1943. This wasn't something that happened in a faraway land. It happened right here. It's the most devastating example of what can happen when a society is food insecure.
And this picture, it tells a very painful story. It shows the real human cost of a famine. These aren't just statistics. These were real people, real families, just like ours. And seeing this makes you realize why this is such a critical issue, even today.
But here's something really interesting and a bit shocking. Look at this table. In 1943, the year of the famine, the production of rice was actually not that low. It was more than in 1941. So, what happened? It wasn't just a problem of availability. The real issue was accessibility and affordability. The prices skyrocketed, and the poorest people simply couldn't afford to buy the food, even though it was physically there.
Okay, so that was the past. But what about now? Who are the people today who are the most food insecure? To really get this, let's put a face to the problem. Let's meet 2 people from your textbook.
First up, we have Ramu. Now, Ramu is a casual farm laborer in a village. What does that mean? It means he only has work during certain times of the year, during the sowing and harvesting seasons.
So, for about 4 months of the year when there's no farm work, Ramu has no income, and that means his family struggles. This is the perfect example of something called seasonal hunger. See, it's hunger that happens in a specific season.
Now let's meet Ahmed. He lives in a big city, Bangalore, and he's a rickshaw puller. So his situation is different from Ramu's. He can find work almost every day, but his earnings, they fluctuate a lot, and they're always quite low.
And because his income is so low and so uncertain, he's in a constant struggle to feed his family properly. This is what we call chronic hunger. The word chronic means something that is persistent. It's there all the time. So his diet is pretty much always inadequate.
Okay, exam alert. This is a very, very important question, but you also listen up. The difference between seasonal and chronic hunger. Examiners absolutely love asking this one, so let's make sure you know it perfectly.
You might want to write this down. Seasonal hunger is tied to the cycles of work, right? It affects people for just a part of the year, like Ramu. Chronic hunger, on the other hand, is because of a diet that is consistently poor. It affects people with very low income, like Ahmed, all the time. Bahut simple hai. One is for a season, the other is constant. Got it?
All right, so we've seen the problem, but how does our country fight it? Well, our government came up with a pretty clever master plan to tackle this. It has 2 main parts.
These are the 2 pillars of our food security system. First, we have something called the buffer stock. Just think of it as a giant dabba or container for the whole country filled with rice and wheat for emergencies. And second, we have the public distribution system or PDS. This is basically the network of ration shops that takes the food from that giant dabba and gives it to the people.
So a good question is,
How does the government fill up this huge buffer stock? Well, it uses something called the Minimum Support Price, or MSP. It's like a promise price. The government announces it before the season, telling farmers, hey, no matter what, we promise to buy your crops for at least this much money. This gives farmers security and encourages them to grow more.
Okay, so let's trace the journey of the food. It's a simple 4-step process. Step 1, the farmer sells their extra crops to the government through the Food Corporation of India, or FCI, at that promised MSP. Step 2, the FCI stores all this grain in huge godowns, that's our buffer stock. Step 3, the government sends this grain to the ration shops. And finally, Step 4, families like ours can go with their ration card and buy the grain at a much lower price, which is called the issue price. See, from the farm to the family.
So we have this big government master plan. But is it working? How well is it doing? Let's do a little performance review, like a final report card for the system.
So what's the biggest success? Well, it has to be the Green Revolution. Because of it, India became self-sufficient in food. We don't have to depend on anyone else. And just look at the numbers on this chart. We went from producing about 80 million tons to over 315 million tons. Wow, that is absolutely massive.
But, of course, no system is perfect. There are some serious challenges too. For one, sometimes the FCI godowns are literally overflowing. All that extra grain can sometimes rot or get eaten by rats, which is a huge waste. And then there's the problem of corruption. Some ration shop dealers do engage in malpractices, like selling poor quality grains. So yeah, there are things we still need to fix.
But you know, it's not all bad news. There's a lot of hope too, especially when you look at cooperatives. I mean, who hasn't heard of Ramu, right? It's such a great success story. It shows how people working together, like the farmers in Gujarat did, can play a huge role in providing quality food for the whole country.
And that brings us to one last thought. This whole chapter isn't just about the government, right? It's about all of us. So how can you help reduce food waste, even in your own home? Think about it, and hey, let me know your ideas in the comments below. And with that, we're done. All the very best for your exams.